So today, first of all, just like a new haircut. I don't have much hair left, but just want to show you the haircut there. Nice little trim there. Anyway, still going with my trusty hat. All right, today I'm going to talk about how I would start a photography business in 2024. Things are a lot different than when I started about 20 years ago, but I've been doing this for a long time. I have a ton of experience. I've had to pivot. I've had to change. I'm still changing. So I have some thoughts, some insights that I want to share with you guys. So let's get into it and let's talk photography. First things first, I'd like to thank today's sponsor of this episode, which is my online store. Simple. Look at that synergy. Ask Mott by Justin Mott. I've got a variety of one-on-one classes, presets that will not make you a better photographer, but they will add some popular images. I've also got prints sold through another channel sponsor, Printique, with shipping to the US and Canada. You can check all that out again at Ask Mott by Justin Mott. If you want to improve your photography, head there. There's a lot of great content on there, a lot of great classes, even some free content on there as well. All right, so 2024, how would I start a photography business? How would I, as an individual, begin? First, I would start with mental prep. I would understand that this is going to be a long and arduous process. I would understand the state of the industry. There are a ton of photographers and content creators out there now entering into the market because they don't want to do office jobs. I've got a ton here, just where I am here in Hanoi, Vietnam. Tons of people that work as teachers, and then on the side, they do content creation, and they do it for either almost nothing or they do it for free. There is a ton of competition. It's a saturated market. And the value of content is plummeting. It just is. I mean, look at what AI is going to do to the stock photography market, the stock video footage market, and just we're all so saturated with so many different types of content and visuals, and people don't want to pay anymore. So I'm not saying that to discourage you. I'm just telling you this to understand the reality of the state of the industry. I think that's a great starting point. Understand the challenges and then start to strategize how you're going to overcome those challenges and how you're going to separate yourself from all those other content creators out there. Next up, skills. I would learn everything now. When you're just starting, learn how to do video, learn how to do photography, learn how to edit your work, understand AI. Whether you embrace it or not, that's up to you. That's going to depend on ethically what genre you're going into, but understand it. Understand how your competitors can use it against you, and understand if you want to use it to help your business or if you want to leverage the fact that you don't use it against it. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And most importantly, I would learn storytelling. That's going to be important to just about every genre of photography you're going to go into. That's going to be what separates you from the others. Can you tell a solid story with your pictures, with your video, with a combination of both? So for example, in the hotel world, in the hotel market, we shoot a lot for Intercontinental Hotels and a bunch of other luxury hotel brands. What separates us is that we can tell a story with our images. A lot of our competition, they're just doing technically sound drone shots and gimbal shots, but there's no narrative to their work. There's no thought about how this story is going to sell the brand that they're shooting for. It's just a hodgepodge of technically sound footage. And that's it. But that's why we can charge more. That's why clients come to us. So understand how to tell a good story and figure out your style and how you want to tell stories. Figure out how you're going to use that in the genre of photography or video production that you're going to go into. Next up is gear. You don't need a ton to start. I wouldn't invest in the most expensive equipment. I wouldn't invest in all of the equipment. I would start with a nice camera that can shoot video and shoot stills at a professional level. So what I would say is, like, I shoot Leica. I can afford Leica. I can justify the price of a Leica. For many of you out there, there's no need to have that camera. It's expensive. It'll put you into debt. I would start with like a Sony mid-range camera, like an A7 IV, something about 30 megapixels that can shoot 4K video, can shoot stills that can be used commercially, and then invest in a set of glass. You don't even need the best of the best. I used to think that. I used to buy into that. I would suggest going with used lenses and buy Sigma. They're great. We use Sigma for a lot of our professional work, and guess what? Nobody knows the difference, and it saved us a ton of money. And as far as all the other stuff, gimbal systems, drone systems, lighting setup, a studio setup, all that, in the beginning I would rent or borrow. If you have a friend, you can borrow and learn. I would learn this equipment so you know how to use it when you need to rent it, but rent in the beginning until you actually need to buy it, or at least until you can justify buying it. You might only need a 3 lighting setup for one shoot a year. So why buy that setup when you can just rent for that one shoot and bill it to your client? So put some thought into the gear that you need. Be stingy in the beginning. You don't need the latest and greatest. Buy used, buy affordable, buy versatile gear, and rent until you can justify to buy. Okay, the business side of things, the unsexy part. Do a deep dive into contracts. Get a good, solid contract that explains all the usage terms, explains all liability terms. Get that out of the way early. If you have a lawyer friend or if you go online and you can find a template contract, do that. Get a solid contract. Don't do any work without a contract. I don't care where you are. I don't care how low level or how low paying the job is, or even if it's not paying, even if you're just trading. It's good practice to start now and have a contract. In addition to that, start good accounting practices now. Learn an accounting system so you can understand where your business is at, where it's going, things that you might be overspending on, or ways to change your quotations. Have a good organizational system on the back end. We use Dropbox for all of our businesses to organize everything. Have a good system for archiving and organizing your images. Start with all that stuff now. Get in these good habits now. So as your business scales, you have organization, you have a system in place to keep your business structured. And also don't forget about retirement. When you work for yourself as a photographer, there's no 401k. There's no system set up for you if you get injured or go through bad times. Or what about towards the end of your career? If you're a wedding photographer doing this for a long time, what are you gonna do when you're 60 or 70? Can you still shoot? Probably not. Maybe some can, but most of you probably not. Have you put enough money aside now in your prime years so that you can retire and you can enjoy retirement? You can have some money there. Think about that stuff now. Think about that stuff from day one. Now, as far as which genre of photography to go into, I would say keep your options open. I started as a photojournalist. I was shooting assignments all throughout Southeast Asia for the New York Times. However, I knew that wasn't sustainable. Newsflash, they don't pay that well, and the work can be sporadic. It can be 2 months on with them and then a couple months with no work. And take a long, hard look at how technology or how AI is going to affect the business that you might be going into now or you might think you want to go into. So, for example, if you're thinking about going into product photography or if you're thinking to make a side hustle in stock photography, good luck. AI is going to crush that. I'm not saying no one will be able to make it work, but not many people will be able to make it work. Or even just commercial photography in general. Even the work that I do now in hotel photography, room shots. I'm sure we're not too far away from all that being done by AI. However, take an industry like documentary photography, or better yet, take an industry that's more fruitful or has more potential to make money, like wedding photography or family portraits. That is probably going to be a lot more resilient to AI. So doesn't mean you have to go into wedding photography if you only like to do documentary photography. Just understand how it's going to affect your business, understand how it's going to affect your ability to earn income. And I would just suggest overall, just be versatile. The next piece of advice I'd give you is to have some sort of structure or discipline. If you just think you're going to announce to the world that you're going to be a photographer and the work's going to come streaming in, good luck. You're not going to do well. You need to have some sort of discipline, especially in your work week. It's so easy. I know you didn't get into this to work a 9 to 5. You don't have to work a 9 to 5, but you do have to have a structured work week. So map out what that's going to look like to you. Are you working from your home 3 days a week? Do you need to rent out a co-working space? Is that going to be beneficial for networking? Or can you work just going to a cafe? Or can you just work full-time at home? I don't know. You're going to have to figure out the strategy for you, but you need to have some sort of structure and some sort of discipline for your business, because most of the time you're not actually shooting. So what you do when you're not shooting, well, you should be working on marketing your business. You should be working on the back-end organization, the contracts I talked about, setting up your infrastructure for your archive on Dropbox and on hard drives. And what that work week's going to look like for you, I don't know. You're going to have to figure that out on your own. But I would say, like, take a day to work on learning new skills. That could be going on YouTube, learn editing, or taking an online class, learn editing, or understanding AI better. Take another day to do marketing, take another day to do your back-end accounting or your archive organization and structure there, going on Dropbox, going through your archives, keywording stuff, organizing all your images. There's a ton of stuff you should be doing. Again, it doesn't have to be 9 to 5. You should have a structured work week rather than just kind of like farting around all day, because it's so easy. I have so many friends that call themselves a photographer and run a business, but they don't treat themselves like a business. When they're not shooting, they're not doing anything. And they're not shooting much because they're not doing anything when they're not shooting. So it's stupid and it just doesn't work, and it's lazy, and it's not going to work for you either. Sales and marketing, this is a big one. This is something that a lot of people that do my one-on-one classes, they say, oh, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you promote yourself all the time. I don't love it. I don't love constantly promoting myself and talking about myself. Well, maybe I do, because that's why I have a YouTube channel. That's part of it. But No, I don't mind it, but you can't just not do it. I don't know too many products or services that sell that people don't know exist. It just doesn't work that way. And a lot of your friends that are going to give you crap about it, they work for a company that has a whole department that does that. You are that department as a photographer. So if you're an entrepreneur, that's a big part of what you have to do is promote your work, promote your services, get that work out there. I am doing that all the time. I post every single day on Instagram. I post frequently on YouTube. I have a newsletter that I put out there 2 times a month. It's work. It's a lot of work. And sometimes it's not fun. And for many people, it's not fun, but it's a huge part of the job. I have even friends that are entrepreneurs give me crap. I had a friend who's like, he's like, oh, you're always selling something online. And then I saw that guy at a booth selling his product as an entrepreneur. I'm like, isn't that what you're doing right here? Like, you're doing the same thing. I just can do it from the freedom of my phone or on my couch at home, selling myself, selling my services, selling what I do. It's a big part of the job. Love it or hate it, you got to do it. The next thing is to constantly strategize. Be open to like focusing on a certain genre that you see an opportunity in. So for example, when I was just doing most of my travel work, my assignment photography, my New York Times stuff, my Condé Nast Traveler stuff, I saw an opportunity in hotel photography. I just noticed like, hey, I didn't think the quality of work out here was that great. I also saw a ton of development here in Southeast Asia for new hotels and new resorts and all these beach destinations. And I said, I can do this and I can do it better than a lot of the other people out there. And I did, and I continued to do so. And then I grew that into doing video production and also doing full production and making myself a one-stop shop for our clients. So there was an opportunity there. I didn't go into travel photography thinking I would do hotels, but it pays a lot better. It's a lot more consistent. And I saw an opportunity and I went for it and I dove head in on it, meaning like set up the infrastructure for the website, understood lighting, understood how to do room shots, understood model contracts, and understood how to do video. And all these things that I didn't understand, I cooperated with people or hired people that knew how to do these things. And I had them work under me and I sold it as one package. Now, I don't know what that's going to be for you, but you have to be open to it. When you see an opportunity, you never know. So many photographers that end up in a certain field, you ask them, is that what you started off as? No, they didn't. They saw an opportunity, they went for it, they seized it, and that's how they made a career. And you constantly have to do it. I'm still doing it right now. I saw an opportunity online to teach it. I saw a lot of photographers out there without a solid resume in photography or working as a professional photographer. And I thought, hey, I can do this. I like doing it too. So that's another example of seeing an opportunity and pivoting and going after that opportunity. And I don't know what that's going to be for you. You're going to have to figure that out, but there's something out there and just be open to it. And the last thing I'll say is a little bit easier, but really important is to also set aside time for yourself in your photography. Set aside time to do your personal work. Not just because you can grow and experiment, but also just mentally for you. Don't forget why you fell in love with photography in the first place. Now, a lot of us start, like for me, I thought I would just be telling stories that I'm interested in and I'm going to change the world and I'd just be doing these stories in black and white and I'd make an impact in my work and I could make a solid living off it. Well, that wasn't the case. So I didn't give up on that. On my own time, I go and do my wildlife stories. That's what my passion is. That's what I love. That's what inspires me. And during that time, it's great for me to fall back in love with photography. I still like all the other stuff, but this is really what I love. But I'm not stupid to the reality of these stories don't pay enough for me to make the living that I want to make at my age and at this point in my life. So I need to do a balance of both. But don't lose that balance, because when I got busy doing all that other work that I talked about today, I stopped doing this, and now I'm finally getting back to it. And I regret not getting back to it earlier. It's important for your soul, but it's also important for your growth as a photographer too. I use that time to experiment with gear, experiment with my storytelling techniques, experiment with my exposure and lighting and telling a story with a series of images. I use it to practice, I use it to fail, and I use it to grow. So set aside time for your personal work, set aside time to remember why you fell in love with photography, and don't ever lose that. Hang on to it and don't let it go. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope that if you're starting a photography business now, that I didn't scare you away. I just want to help you. I want to be real with you guys, and I want to help you. So if you have questions, I do my best to answer every single question. You can ask me in the comments section below. I will do my best to answer it. If you're interested in a more personal approach, I do one-on-one coaching online. Some people choose my more business-focused approach, and some people want help with their style of photography, or some people want a combination of both. You can check all that out at Ask Mott by Justin Mott, or just follow the link in the description box below. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to have a wonderful day.